forget that. When we know we have the power, they can't do the things they do to us and get away with it. So we got to make sure that we're not only voting, but we're standing up in our community and we're fighting the power because we know we have the power. I want Pastor. All right, come on now, put them fists in the air, baby. You ain't got to be black to do it, but you gotta stand with us though. Don't put it up if you ain't with us. So thank you. I want to kick this off because I always believe in God, right? And I always want to make sure that He's leading the way so we can be peaceful and we can be prayerful and we can be hopeful, right? And we can be faithful, right? So Pastor Sharon, let's go.
Black lives? Amen.
Amen.
Do you want to? Well, we'll pray. She don't put me on the spot. Father, thank you for this opportunity to let our voices be heard. Thank you, God, that these moments like this, God, will lead to change, that our generations after us will see that we made a difference and we didn't let lives just continue to be left in the street. We stood up for those who couldn't stand up for themselves. And so we ask you to bless this occasion. Amen.
Amen.
We've gathered here today in peaceful solidarity to protest the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, George Mann, Tanisha Anderson, Brian Keith Day, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Stephon Clark, Willie Tillman, Tyree Crawford, Patterson Brown, and Walter Scott. And that's just to name a few. These are the names of people who were different in many ways. But the one thing that they all had in common is the fact that they were all black and they were all killed at the hands of police officers. The outrage that we see today in our nation is not an outrage that has come about just because of George Floyd. It is a pent-up anger and frustration of black people across this nation who have been saying Black Lives Matter when to them the nation doesn't agree. In moments like this, some people will say, not all police officers are bad. And I agree. I fully believe that there are many good police officers, all who put their lives on the line every day. Officers who understand that every man and woman should be treated fairly, regardless of the color of their skin or the neighborhood which they live in. There are even organizers like Blessed, made up of police officers right here in Jersey City who are constantly working with at-risk youth. They work tirelessly to break down barriers of mistrust between the black community and law enforcement. Somebody say however. However. Say it like you mean it. Say however. However. It is in moments like this that we need more police officers who believe in justice and equality. We need those police officers to speak out when those bad cops misuse their authority. We need you to speak out when those bad officers continue to mistreat and even kill black people. We need you to speak out when the laws that you have vowed to uphold and enforce are not being upheld or enforced equally for all people. If we're going to change the relationships and are going to improve, then it will take all of us working together, the community and the police. You see, we as black people are standing here today because we're tired. We're tired of protests that do not lead to lasting change. We're tired of people who scream when the cameras are on but are silent when the cameras disappear. We're tired. We're tired of organizations that have used the plight of black people to advance their causes, but don't show up when we need them to advance our causes. We're tired of our people being harassed and seen as a threat when we're not at war, but we're treated like the enemy. We're tired of an unjust justice system. We're tired of empty promises with no progress and no change in policies. As a pastor and as a Christian, I believe that the foundation of true Christianity is not seeing our president standing holding a Bible, being a hypocrite, and calling himself a Christian. That the foundation of true Christianity is to bring about change by exposing, destroying, and standing up to all evil. 1 John 3:8 says, "For this purpose the Son of God was manifested to destroy the works of the devil." My prayer today is that all of us will say we will no longer tolerate bad policing. My prayer today is that we won't need another George Floyd to stand up together against injustice. My prayer today is that we won't just use our voices, but we'll use our votes to change this world for the better. My prayer for today is that we will continue to apply pressure until legislation is passed that truly upholds the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all people. In closing, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." To that I add, if we keep shining the light of justice and equality on the world, the darkness of inequality has nowhere to hide. Family, let's keep the lights on. Let's keep standing. Let's keep marching. Let's keep protesting. Let's keep voting. And most importantly, let's keep coming together until Black Lives Matter is not a hashtag, but it's a way of life. God bless you. I'm going to bring another. And let me say this real quick. I want to get out the way. Rallying and fighting doesn't mean we all have to do it the same way, but we have to have the same cause. This Monday, you're going to get some flyers. Some pastors have decided that it's time for us to stand on the front line. And so this Monday, we're going to come together as churches and pastors to show this world how the church is really supposed to look. At this time, I turn the mic over to my friend and the fighter for justice, Frank Gilmore. And the rally is at Berry Lane. God bless you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Power to the people. Power to the people.
To the people.
Yes, we stand out here today in solidarity as one people, as one nation. And we've lost several innocent lives to the hand of police brutality. But we're not only standing in solidarity as it relates to the individuals we lost, we're standing in solidarity as it relates to the excessive force used by law enforcement in this country. And although we understand the national media is talking about what transpired a couple days ago, we know and understand that we face challenges every day right here in Jersey City. Now, brutality if we don't talk about systematic racism. That's what we need to talk about. So, we're not standing up here asking for anybody to do us no damn favor. Do your damn job. If you took the oath to serve and protect, God damn it, that's what you do. Serve and protect. That's what you do. And to my legislative friends, you have the power to hold law enforcement accountable. Y'all sit up here and pass an ordinance every week. Y'all sit up here and pass an ordinance every week. Don't just get on social media and not condone what's going on. Push legislation so if they do something, they pay for it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. This makes no sense. It makes no sense for law enforcement to take advantage of regular citizens, lose a job, but keep a damn pension. It makes no sense. And the taxpayers are on the hook for paying the fine. The taxpayers are on the hook for paying for lawyers. When are we going to hold them accountable? Say it again. Say it again. Hold their ass accountable. I ain't going to be long because I'm extremely long with it. We'll be here the next week. So, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. It's a beautiful thing when you can see the diversity as it relates to ethnicity. It's a beautiful thing when you can see the diversity as it relates to socioeconomical status. It's a beautiful thing when you can see diversity as it relates to age. And the last thing I want to say, people, is to my other friends out there, your silence basically proves your stance.
TP.
Peace, peace, peace. 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 My brain is okay now.
Okay now. Take your time.
But I'm not okay now.
Right. That's right.
I stand here as a human being, not as a Muslim, not as a black man.
It's all right.
It's real. It's real. Yeah. I just want y'all to know, I am a lifelong resident of Jersey City, New Jersey. Longer than a lot of you officers been in the gang of police. So you will respect my humanity. I remember having a conversation with my grandmother and my great-grandmother about the tumultuous times that they endured in the 40s, in the 50s, and the 60s. Police brutality, racism. I guess this is my version. This is my version. They say his story repeats itself. I say our story is repeating itself. But the buck stops here. And it stops now. We have come too far as a people. So there won't be no turning the other cheek. You portray violence against us. Expect us to portray violence against you. For me to sit and watch that coward blatantly kill my brother, it's equivalent to him killing my mother. We've been asking for years. We are demanding now. I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
That's what George Floyd and Eric Garner said. So, I oppose no threats to anyone. But my people are dying. My people are dying. All I want is peace, equality, and justice for my people. Stay strong. Stay woke. And never forget, power to the people. Power to the people. I love y'all.
Love you too, Jake. Okay, brother.
I don't know if you guys could hear the emotion behind everything he was saying while he's trying to stand here and not only be a strong black man, but also a human, right? Because he did say that that separates him, right? And he wants to make sure that he's a human being first. But that took a lot for that brother to do it. You can feel it in him, just like it took a lot for me to watch that video with the knee on George Floyd's neck, knowing I have 3 brothers and a father and a stepfather and a son and nephews and uncles, some who have been abused by police. And I don't like to call people victims, right? Because if we're still here, we're a survivor. So whatever you survived it. Domestic violence, violence in your community, police brutality. We survivors. I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
We 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 can't breathe.
My brother Stephen Campos, please come to the front.
Like my brother Tony said, we're tired. We're not taking it anymore. And we're not going to be silent. We were here a couple of years ago for March for Our Lives. And in between that, we respond to the pain of our kids every day. As a Latino man working in this community every single day with kids that hurt, we see that pain in families. We see the unemployment. We see the food hunger. We see the beatings, being scared of police. Why? We see them getting subpar education in some of their communities. Why? What does that look like every day? It looks like pain, it looks like suffering, it looks like trauma. But we still, like my sister Pam said, survive. No one out here is looking for a handout. No one ever asks, give me something. What we demand is what is owed to us. It's freedom and it's justice. And that's why we come out here every time. And we'll continue to do it. We get the masses out when we see tragedy on our TV and our medias, but you best believe we are out here every day. These people up here on these stage, and many of us are fighting every single day. So if you're gonna take a message away from today, is that you gotta get active. Get active and call someone. Get active with a group that's on the ground. Call that legislator and demand to know what that action is after today. Because we're not taking it anymore. And if you are an ally, you're standing with us today, you're going to continue to stand with us. continue to march with us. Our marches that we've seen this week have been symbolic. And you know why I say it's symbolic? Because the marching has to continue. You guys have to continue to walk with us in that path, that uphill battle of that systemic oppression that we work every single day to dismantle. And to my Latino brothers and sisters, estamos unidos en esta pelea. Silent either. We stand up unidos. I'm not going to stand by as I see a human being suffer in this country or in this world. I'm not going to stand by if I see a fellow brother and sister be beaten down.
All right.
Lynched on the streets of our country in our modern day lynching. Fuck that! We're not taking that anymore! Bullshit! Take this show of unity that you guys all see today, that you witnessed today. Stand by your fellow human beings and make a vow to yourself that you're going to continue to march. And with that, I say I love you all and continue to march proud and continue to get active. Peace.
All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. Look, this is a beautiful scene right here in Jersey City right now. This is a beautiful look right now. Local educator here in Jersey. Before we go any further, because there's going to be a whole host of demands that are going to be made at the end of this, because this is not just a show and then we just speak. There's going to be action items afterwards. And let me tell you why there's going to be some action items afterwards. As a social studies teacher, it behooves me to go back and teach a little bit of history.
Okay. Tell it.
99, 2000. Michael England
Tell
on
it.
Bayview.
Tell it. Like
Shot in the back.
All right, in the back.
Quadea Felton.
All right, Quadea.
Shot in the face. The brother can't see anymore.
Merciful.
LeVar King
All right.
on the Heat.
Okay.
Shot in the alleyway.
All right.
Sharon Cooper in Audubon Park being run over by a police cruiser. Kids on Boxwood Avenue
All right.
beat with the batons,
All right.
looking like something out of a civil rights movie back in
Absolutely.
Birmingham, back in the 1960s.
All right.
I'm talking about abuse. Now, granted, what happens is people get prosecuted, people go to court, and people get let off.
Right.
But there's still a stain still inside of the community because the family members still live in Jersey City.
Right.
They still suffer the loss. They still see the same officers who are on patrol every other day. They remember that stuff. So, by the end of this speech, what you're going to hear is some solutions to that problem. Because the problem is this. We don't feel as though there is justice here in Jersey City. We do not have mechanisms in play for transparency, for seeing videos, for seeing anything that happens when it relates to police abuse that occurs in Jersey City. It was so important for the brother Nevin Perkins yesterday led hundreds, if not thousands, all throughout Greenville, demanding the same thing that we're asking for today. And so that's why it's a beautiful thing, because by the end of this meeting, it's just not anti-violence. It's NAACP, Royal Men. It's going to be everybody coming together because we're not forgetting anything that we mentioned today. These demands, every last person in this crowd is going to be responsible for emailing legislators, council people, the mayor, the director, the chief of police, and everything, because we're going to have what we deserve as it relates. And look. This is not an indictment. This is not whatever being bashful of police. No. Because when I tell you my history, my grandfather was one of the earlier black cops on the Jersey City police force. And the stories that he's telling me about working in the South and having to deal with the discrimination, even on the force. Even on the force. And so that's why sometimes it's so hard for conscious police officers to open their mouths when they see people espousing racism, saying the slick comments, doing the things, false practice, abuse of force. Don't say anything and don't check their, because it's a difficult situation for officers to be. But just imagine if they had thousands, thousands of citizens rallying behind saying, root out the evil, root out the injustice, root out all that inside of the force so we can have a harmonious community here in Jersey City and throughout this America. That's what it's going to take, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason why we're here. No bashing. We just want things done. We don't want empty promises no more. Throughout this week, I've heard our mayor say that he is in favor of the Citizen Review Board.
All right.
He said that he's in favor of showing body cam footage, the same footage that him, Shay, and
Many of us.
Now. Go ahead.
Many
Go
of us.
ahead.
the same footage
Go ahead.
that they saw, that they handed to the prosecutor office, that will go to the attorney general. That same footage, every last person in this crowd should be privy to when we see
Absolutely.
injustice or bad practice happen here in Jersey City.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. No empty promises. No empty promises. No shallow talk for quick newspaper headlines.
All right.
Action.
Action.
Speak louder
Louder.
than words.
Words.
Action
Action.
speaks louder
Louder.
than words.
Word.
Action
Action.
speaks louder
Speak loud.
than words.
Word.
Thank you.
Go ahead now.
Power to the people! Yes! We got one more speaker, which is George Fontanet, and then I'm going to close this out. And I'm going to leave y'all with some responsibility, because we all got work to do.
Go.
Thank you very much for having me. As Ms. Johnson said, my name is George Fontanet. I'm a part of New Jersey ADOS, ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery.
All right.
I'm also a member of the Jersey City Black Citizens Caucus.
Yes.
And so we're here to represent. We've been here before. In Dr. King's 1968 treaty, where do we go from here? Community or chaos? He coined the term American descendant of slavery. He had analyzed all the problems through the civil rights movement, the civil rights era, and he came up with some solutions. Some of that you could see on the video where he talks about going to Washington and getting our check. He was talking about reparations. Reparations is the single most consequential determinant of ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, black people's position in the American hierarchy system.
Say it again.
Louder for the people in the back.
Good. Louder, brother. Louder.
Again, reparations, or the lack of getting it, is the single most determinant in the position, the social position of American blacks here in America.
All right.
This makes you vulnerable. You have no political agency. Because in politics, you know, you have to spend money. You don't have money, you don't have agency. You don't have agency, you don't have a voice.
All right.
You have no access to education, not a good education. And education is one of the determinants in wealth creation
All right.
and income.
All right.
Because of the practice of redlining,
That's right. Redlining. Talk about
You
it.
don't have access to fair lending practices, right?
You know, we do it that way. Redlining.
If you're going to create wealth, you got to own a home.
All right. All right.
That's the foundation of your wealth.
All right.
You are locked out. So ADOS is about the business of securing reparations. To change your positionality in America. As tragic as the death of George Floyd was, and it is tragic, it's symptomatic of a deeper issue.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
It's been articulated here, racism. But make no mistake about it, somebody can be racist, can be discriminate to you, but if you have money, you can bypass that.
Say it again. Say it again.
Someone can discriminate against you,
And you can
but
pay
if you have
money.
money,
Well, yep. It's overlooked. Grain of salt. Huh?
so we're gonna ask you, and we'll start a little early on this. The creation of a federal bill other than H.R. 40. H.R. 40 is a garbage bill.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
The
is.
language is dubious,
Unclear.
it's archaic. They've been trying to deal with it since 1989 and have done nothing.
That was the plan.
We need a new bill,
All right.
not a study.
Right. No more studies.
There's
No
enough
more
scholarship
studies.
out here. We know what the debt is.
Correct.
Despite 286 years of free labor, we've been cheated out of our piece of the American pie, out of our legacy.
All right.
That legacy is the stolen wealth.
Yes.
It is not a handout.
No handouts here.
It is a debt.
That's right. Pay the debt.
You have to pay your debt. The country has to pay its debt.
Yes.
Hello. Too much.
Yes.
Hey, what you owe?
Pay what you owe. Where's the 40 acres?
In addition to this, of course, we need officers to honor their promise to the community, to serve and protect,
Protect, serve.
And we need our country to honor its obligation,
Beat us up. My God.
pay the debt.
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 We know what's expected of us during this time. For ADOS, you're expected to go into your community, loot, mindlessly, tear down your community. The few black businesses here in Jersey City.
We don't loot.
Now we gotta understand Jersey City has a unique place in this debt business.
All right.
We have a study called the Croson Study.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We do.
Already done.
Close to $2 billion
Try to do it
spent.
again.
Less than half of 1% went to black-owned businesses.
Merciful. Merciful. Robbery.
Talk about some numbers now.
Robbery.
Let's get to it now.
Understand that leaves the black community in Jersey City on the hill at a disadvantage. You pay your taxes, but you don't get the services.
No equity, no inclusion.
Now we're talking about in terms of the local
Are you here?
debts.
All right.
Equity, not equality. We passed the time of equality because white people own 90% of our nation's wealth.
We built it up.
Black people own 2.6% of the nation's wealth. Most of that is in the hands of baby boomer retirees, but it's reflected in home ownership, not liquid cash.
All right. Okay.
The numbers in Jersey are even more abysmal. Black people own 2%. of the wealth in New Jersey.
That's George Martinez.
White people own 96% of the wealth
Country
in New
built on the
Jersey.
black slave. Facts. That's what it's designed to do.
We also need you to support, right? This is very important. On the state side, the approval of New Jersey reparations bill 5968.
All right.
5968. Bill
5968.
5968 with the ADOS edits.
Okay.
We want it with the ADOS edits. Because if you don't get it with the ADOS edits, your inheritance, ADOS, will go to everybody. Everybody.
All right.
Understand? New Jersey is one of the leaders in school segregation due to the economic gap.
Tell it.
We need serious reform. We need people to be serious. Otherwise, we will be back here in 5
Same
years,
story.
in 10 years,
With
in
the
12
same
years.
story. Rewrite the story.
Taking the L, a loss.
We're tired of losses.
Hold it to the stage.
We cannot have something happen, we get mad, we protest, we do something symbolic,
And go back to sleep.
then we go back
We're
home.
woke now. We're woke. Let's be real.
So I encourage you all to contact your state representative again. New Jersey Reparations Bill 5968 with the ADOS New Jersey ADOS edits, right? With the edits. All right, pay the debt.
Pay the debt.
Pay the debt.
Pay the debt.
Thank you. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Wow, this feels powerful up here. I've been born and raised in Jersey City, right? I've been an educator for 14 years. I see some of my students out there. Where's your name? What's up? That's right. I am the author of You Are the Answer to the Problem, From the Hood to Harvard and Back Again.
Yes.
And I'm back to do the work. And so, in the spirit of telling a story, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my history, right? Growing up here in Jersey City, and then I'll bring it right up to present times. Are you ready?
Ready?
You ready? All right. So, I was born and raised in Jersey City. We moved to different parts of Jersey City at different times, right? But one thing I remember is Mr. Howard. He's now the principal of PS12. He was my teacher from 6th to 8th grade. And this man, he poured so much into my life. And I would like to attribute, like, who I am to him, right? And many others, but particularly to him. Whatever he told me about myself or about the world, I believed him, right? And when we are killing our young people prematurely, we fail to allow them to get that experience, right? So I wouldn't be who I am without Mr. Howard. But what happens is we're killing our black men off to the point where they won't even have that experience to develop for themselves into real men, right? And so he told me one lie in my whole entire life, right? He told me one lie. He said, I don't think a black man could ever be president in my lifetime. Right?
Okay.
That was around 96, 97. 10 years later, we proved them wrong. Right? Right. And I was in DC going crazy. I've never felt so patriotic. When I was in DC, you know, Black Lives Matter, we were going off, right? And why is that important right now? Because the same spirit that existed in 2007 and 2008 is the same spirit that exists now, right? The same energy that existed back then, it exists right now. What is that energy? The energy is the ability to create something that never happened.
That's right.
To make it into existence, right? And because we've never been here before,
right? And so we're gonna make this into a reality for ourselves. We're gonna create a community where they're not serving and protecting just downtown, but they're serving and protecting in the south side as well. Right? We're gonna create a community. Absolutely. We're gonna create a community that our young black boys are not the bottom of the achievement totem pole in our education system. Right? You have the ability to do it. Why not? Because we're killing their dreams later, but it starts earlier in the classroom when they have educators who don't look like them and who don't care about their social emotional learning. We're going to create a community where my 2 black sons, right, will, exactly, that's right. We're going to live in a community where my 2 black sons will not be judged by the color of their skin. Right? They're not going to be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Let's do work. Let's create.
Oh no, I told you I was gonna close you out. I'm enjoying your energy, man. Power to the people! I promise you the last speaker, and then I'll close this out, and then we're gonna go over and occupy Pedestrian Plaza, right?
Let's go!
It's gonna be fun.
Let's go!
All right, Reverend McGay, president of the NAACP, Jersey City chapter.
I want to say thank you to Pam and the members of the Anti-Violence Coalition. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have responded tonight, because it is about you and you and you that we are out here protesting so that the future better place will be developed and open for all of us in Jersey City. See, it is easy to talk about Minneapolis and George Floyd. It is easy for us to talk about New York. It is easy for us to talk about Georgia. But I want you to know that there are folks here in Jersey City with their knees on top of your necks, and they will not move. They are continuing with their hands in their pocket until your life is taken away. I want you to know that we want the knees moved. We want them to move the knees of our necks. The next thing that I want to talk about is white silence is violence. Now, I'm not talking about white folks who are among us today. I'm talking about the metaphor that some of us become silent once we are getting a job to be in the office. We're getting a little job to be on the city council. We are getting a little job with a 2-year employment somewhere. We become silent and don't say anything anymore. Let us open our mouth when we see injustice. Let's open our mouth when we see racism. Let's open our mouth when we see somebody knee on the neck of our president. Now lastly, we are going to leave this place today with the understanding that there will be a change. And we want a change. We want a new normal. Something different. New attitude. New place to live. A Jersey City that is just.
It's just a city that is fair. It's just a city that is without racism. So we do have some demands. And we want all of us to support the demands that are being put together so that there will be a civilian review in Jersey City. And that we will have people serving those committees who are for the entire community. So when we leave here today, we want you to know that we will no longer stand just out of us and see our brothers and our sisters lynching and falling and killing and be murdered. You will stand up. Yeah. Stand up. Yeah. Reach out. Yeah. Take the neck and the knee and make it an example. And say, move your knee. Remove your knees. Take your knees off my brother. Take your knees off my sister. Take your knees off my household. Take your knees off my community.
Drafted by many organizations, some who are up here standing behind me and some in the crowd. It's an open letter to Mayor Fulop, the City Council, Chief of Police, and the Public Safety Director. The time for decisive action is now. Unchecked police oversight has led to years of mistrust from the community that we have now reached the moment where changes must be made. The horrific murder of George Floyd has placed a spotlight on the lack of police oversight in our country, and it is our responsibility as a community to do better. The following in the right direction. A complaint review board. A city council ordinance outlining the creation of a CCRB must be made immediately. The work of creating a transparent with the power to hold office is crucial. The community are deeply committed to building trust. The release of the body cam footage from the incident on Boston Avenue on May 5th, along with updates and investigation updates on all incidents involving police aggression and police misconduct. Residents have been traumatized due to violence from police, and to heal, we need to address these matters. We cannot move forward without resolving the past.
Accountability!
We need a plan on department leaders and officers on a regular basis. Commitment to raise the bar on the quality of community policing in Jersey City. All the following organizations have signed off on these demands and this letter to city government officials. The Anti-Violence Coalition of Hudson County, the NAACP, Royal Men Foundation, Haven Adolescent Community Respite Center, Neighborhood Alliance, Hudson Partnership CMO, Orient Avenue Block Association, Go Get My Kids, Jersey Together, Burn Communities United, Sarah's Daughters Foundation, New City Kids, Brimmerhoff Block Association, Congregation of Grace Van Vorst Church, Jersey City Theater Center founder, Artistic Director Olga Lavina, Kings Better Kings, World Outreach Christian Church, Guadalupe action. Rise and Tide Capital. Black men united, and lastly, but certainly not least, Congregation of Bernard Jacobs Temple. Power to the people! We have the power! 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 Black lives! Black lives! Black lives!
Black lives! Black lives! Look, get off my neck! 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 Drop off me! Get off my neck! Get off my neck! As you say it, make the racism fall off you. Get off my neck! Get off my neck! As you say it, let the depravity of our community drop off you. Get off my neck! Get off my neck! As you say it, let our eyes and ears be enlightened and open to all the possibilities of freedom and justice in this Jersey City, in this state, and in this country. Black lives, I can't breathe. We can't breathe. Check it out. This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. Do not take lightly of what was said at this demonstration. There are 2,000 individuals are going to hold people accountable like we never did it before. Right here in Jersey City. So by the time we finish, by the time the summer comes, we're going to get some oxygen. We're going to breathe in and out. We're going to breathe in and out. We're going to get souped up with power. We're going to get souped up with power. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Thank you, everybody.